Hello, I'm Namudu Agnes, and I'm going to present about the impromptu speech. So it is a form of speech, and you may ask yourself, what is an impromptu speech? So an impromptu speech is one that is made without much or any time to prepare. It can happen when you attend special events like a wedding or other celebrations. In school, you may be asked to say something brief about a topic that you're not ready for. And all this is to help you build confidence and probably know how to speak in front of people in occasions where you're called without any preparation. So, the structure of an impromptu speech is basically the introduction, then the transition to the main point, then the main point, transition to the main point two, and then main point two itself, transition to the conclusion, and then finally you conclude. So main point one and main point two constitute the body, but the body may have a maximum of 3 to 5 points. You don't want to be too wordy. Then the introduction, you have to basically focus on grabbing your audience's attention, establishing goodwill and credibility. This is by expressing ideas that are original and intelligent. That is from your own head, from your own perspective. And then you give a preview. So you're going to mention in the introduction what you're going to talk about in the body, but just briefly. Then the body, this is where you now expound on your points, your 2 or 3 points. You're going to expound on them and talk to them briefly about it. You don't want to overdo it. And then after you're done with the body, you are going to go to the summary. So the summary or the conclusion is where you are going to talk about the ideas that you mentioned in the body, just briefly. That is, you bring in the thesis that you are talking about. And you're probably going to use an analogy or a metaphor or something that will capture the attention and bring back the audience to the main idea of the story that you are talking about, or the body that you are talking about. And you can also make quotations, just like in the introduction, even in the summary, you can mention some quotes that will, leave your audience thinking about what you spoke about to be memorable. Now, they have characteristics of a good impromptu speech. So the three main are confidence, authenticity, and passion. So when you speak with passion, people will listen to you. When you are confident, people will see you. When you do not shuffle and keep moving around, that will really show a lot about you. If you are authentic, that means what you're talking about is true. That is going to really grasp your audience's attention. Then how do you give an impressive impromptu speech? Stick to the truth. You don't have to lie. If you're not sure about a fact, you may just leave it out. You speak fluidly and naturally. Be yourself. Just speak how you usually speak. Don't do too much extra. People will notice. Then be confident, as we mentioned before. Begin by calming your nerves. When they call you up on an event like maybe a wedding and they call you up to speak, don't just rush to that place. Take some time to walk to that place as you calm down and think of what you're going to say. Then personalize your speech using a relevant story. You want to give a story that will be interesting and keep your audience listening, but the story should be related to the event. So you need to consider that. Then keep it brief. If you speak for more than a minute and you've been offered a minute, people might get bored and start to lose attention and look outside and shuffle their feet, and you really don't want that for your speech. And use humor, be funny. That will keep your audience awake. Then keep your conclusion brief and memorable. As we mentioned before, your conclusion should be very brief, and you should thank people for listening to you. Then use a credible voice tone. Don't speak too fast. Let people hear what you're saying because you're there for them to listen. Then focus on your audience. This is very important. You need to know the kind of audience you have. You need to know their needs, maybe probably their age. So what you're talking about should really be relevant to their age, their religion. These are the factors you need to consider. Then utilize powerful body language, because this is an impromptu speech. People are looking at you. So your actions are going to display what you mean. So you may be talking about something and your facial expressions will tell people whether it is being sarcastic or maybe you are joking. So your facial expressions and your body movement speak volumes. And finally, these are the references that I used, how to give a great impromptu speech, and that is the link. Also, top tips for delivering an impromptu speech. The link is provided. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.